Okay, so welcome to the ZMY Begin class. We're going to start sitting up today. Hey, tonight is the full moon, the pink moon, which I can't wait to see it. It's going to be beautiful. It'll be beautiful. Yeah, since it's getting darker later. And I actually don't have to get up super early tomorrow. So normally I'll just see it in the morning, but yeah, I'll have to see it tonight. But that gives us a lot of good energy for release. The full moon is where we focus on releasing stuff, and the new moon is where we set intentions for new behaviors. So generally speaking, like obviously can do that anytime, right? But I know, I mean, even my kids, they don't know this, but they have a hard time sleeping when it's full moon time. Just that the light that comes with it and the energy that comes with it, everything is just double magnetism. So it's pretty neat. But we talked about earlier, because we only have a few days left for our theme for this month, which I can't, it feels like I just did this. April is almost over, but Surya is sun. And so we were talking earlier in our meditation class about our solar plexus and our sun center and our center, period. Like this is, I mean, it's where your umbilical cord, like your actual center of life. And I always picture it, I mean, it's associated with the color yellow. I picture it as this ball of fiery energy because it is like where your drive and your self-will, and when those things are balanced, they're great. You know, you have great self-worth and self-esteem and you're feeling confident about yourself. But when it's out of balance, like too strong or too low, you cannot feel so good about yourself. You could be controlling, you know, trying to control situations and things like that. So I just wanted to start sitting up and try to find that center and really focus on it as we sit silently for just a minute. So have a seat however you like, lining up the heels or easy pose, Sukhasana or Siddhasana, and then have the hands lying on the thighs. All of you are practicing meditators. So it's good to just take a moment. Go ahead and close the eyes. Take a deep breath in and exhale through the mouth. And try to find that little tilt forward in the pelvis. Feel grounded through the sitting bones. Our lower half of the body, where our lower energy centers are, our lower chakras or energy wheels, when those are all solid and strong and we feel grounded and good about ourselves, then the upper half of our energy centers is just moving up into higher consciousness or spirituality and growth. So visualize just above the navel, below the rib cage, that area in between those two spots, and find your center there. What does it look like? Associate it with the color yellow, and maybe even begin to breathe in and out the color yellow. So as you inhale, find the breath all the way down to that solar plexus, and as you exhale, let it leave. Breathe all the way down to that chakra and then out again. And then we're going to add an affirmation of I am blank. So associated with this solar plexus would be something like I am confident, I am capable, I am worthy, And we'll take a few more breaths here like this. Go ahead and blink the eyes open. Right fingertips to the floor. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right and circle the wrists. Just go in both directions as you open up the left side of the body. And then bring that hand down. Inhale the right arm up. And exhale, lean to the left and circle the wrists. Bring that hand down. We're going to come into a little bit of a twist here, a straddle twist. You guys have done it before, so you can use your strap if you like, but drop your knees to the right so that the right foot is at the inner or on top of the other leg. Yep, so both knees like a straddle. This back foot, if you can, place the top of the foot on the floor so the heel is close to the butt. And then you can twist here, but I want you to try this first. Let's face it, you guys are not beginners, even though this is a beginner class. So you have the option. Yeah. And then how does your leg feel there?
It just doesn't feel like you can reach. So
that's okay. You don't have to then you can keep it down here, or you can just do your twist. Yeah, yeah. Okay, then just, yeah, you decide. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, revolve. Take another breath or two. And then release. Do any of you ever do the, because I notice I do this myself and I have to be very conscious when we're doing things like a twist, you know, and we hold ourselves here, like bending the fingertips, like squishing the fingertips like this, or the hand like that. Always be sure that your hand is flat, or my point here is to introduce a block for that. You can always place your hand on a block, okay? This over time, obviously bearing weight is gonna hurt your fingers. So I still have to be careful of that. I didn't see anybody doing it, but just, you know, introducing the block. All right, other side. Good. Okay, inhale, lengthen, exhale, revolve. A fist is an option too if you don't have a block. It's okay, as long as you're twisting both directions. One more breath here. And then exhale, release. Your foot's like, I'm done. I'm done. Straighten the legs out. Massage the kneecaps a little bit, bounce the knees around. Do you ever just feel stiff by the end of the day? Yeah. All right, one-legged. Bend the right knee, drop it out to the side. You can take your strap, put it around the ball of the left foot, a strap in each hand. And so really, I mean, yes, we can bend the knee if we need to, as long as we're engaging all the right muscles. This is a good way to lengthen the hamstrings though too, because if your leg is straight, you're definitely engaging. Press through the ball mount of the big toe. That's why the strap is there. So you can press into the strap and then exhale, lead with the chin. Even though there's a saying that says never lead with the chin. In yoga, you get to lead with the chin. And pull or draw the shoulder blades back. And so what can you do different in this posture that you already know? Like take the knowledge that you know Scoop up the belly. Use the back muscles. Maybe even bring your awareness to your hip socket. Feel where you're stopped. And just let go a little bit more. Sometimes you can even go another centimeter or so. Just move with the breath. We're gonna take 3 more breaths here. And then even as you come out of it, hinge back up to a seated position and then switch sides. Then the left knee, drop it out. I'm already starting, now that it's Chaco season, I'm already starting to get a Chaco callus on my heel. Put the strap around the foot. My old Chacos never did that, which did last me like 17 years. Yeah, I finally gave them up, I think. All right, same thing here. Get everything engaged first. Lengthen and hinge. Keep with your breath, stay present. And keep that mantra of I can or I am fill in the blank with your practice, even in these forward folds. Can you let go a little bit more? Inhale, come all the way up. Both feet now. So here's what this is what happens to me, you know, because I can definitely be paying attention to all of this stuff. Is that drying your eyeballs out? Do you want me to move it? Are you good? Okay. The fan is going right into Susan's. Okay. When I'm doing all of these things and focusing on folding, I start to lose the feet and my feet go like this because I can go further if my feet are like this. But if I'm being honest with myself about the posture, I got to stay here. So let's practice that with the strap, pressing through the ball mount of both big toes. Engage the legs, inhale up, exhale, fold. Even if you can reach the feet, we're just gonna stay here. Because you'll notice where the tightness is. If you start to press through the ball mounts of the big toes, you might feel tightness on the outsides of the legs. It doesn't look like you do. Do you feel that? That's where I feel it. In your back, like stretching, or just like muscles working? Yeah, it does take a lot, yeah, but the legs look great. And sometimes we tell ourselves we're never going to actually fold in half, which isn't the goal, but see if you can let go a little bit more. Because this actually requires strength more than flexibility. Yes, it requires flexibility, but do you know what I mean? We think of it being like, oh, I'm not flexible, I can't fold forward. It actually requires strength just as much, if not more. Take one more breath. And then inhale, come all the way up and release. Let's go to hands and knees. We'll give ourselves a break coming into child's pose. So knees apart, big toes together, sit back on the heels and stretch the arms forward. Be active in your arms. Press through the fingertips and get your arms as straight as possible. Almost like you're pushing on the floor so your butt can get a little bit lower to the heels. Take one more breath here. And then we'll inhale and lift the head. Start to walk the hands back just a little bit. We're gonna raise off of the heels and come into puppy pose. So you're on your forearms, already start to lift the sitting bones and let the back dip. We'll worry about the engagement later. First, I just want you to release the spine and then walk your hands forward if you can. So we're doing child's pose again. It's just that we're lifted off of our sitting bones. And feel the spine sinking deeply into the back, in between the shoulder blades, into the lower back. And we'll take another breath here. And then bring yourself to hands and knees. So inhale, lift, grab your block. We're gonna do our threading of the needle today with the block, maybe. I think when we did this in our line class last week was, I forgot who, I don't know. This doesn't work for everybody. This block is here, so you can maybe feel the stretch a little bit more in your shoulder. I'll show you what we're gonna do with it because you guys have done thread the needle so many times. We're gonna do the same thing we always do, except when we bring our head down, our arm is gonna go on top of the block. So it's like we're giving a little bit more room for stretch. Okay, so left hand to the center of the mat. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale, slide through. Get your left hand adjusted so the elbow's pointing up towards the ceiling. You're resting on the head, and then you straighten the arm onto the block. So yes, your shoulder will be lifted, but your left arm is supporting you. Find your breath. And you can move that left hand too. You can move it closer to your head or whatever feels comfortable. And if it just feels too awkward, just don't do it. If you get something out of the other, does it? Mm-hmm. Well, yes, it's definitely taking you deeper. So if it's too much, just, yeah, keep the arm on the floor. You too, Robin. And then breathe here. Are you feeling it a deeper stretch there? Because I know your shoulders. Mm-hmm. Where do you feel it? Where do you feel it?
It's like down here.
Ah. Hey, so you guys, okay, Robin, tell me for a minute where you're feeling it. Everyone's feeling it in their rib cage area. Are you feeling it? You're feeling it in the shoulder. Okay, good. Take one more breath here and then we're gonna exhale and come back to hands and knees and do the other side. Okay, so here's the thing. If your intercostals are tight and if your back, because obviously there's layers and layers of muscles on the back. I mean, even your latimus dorsi go all the way down. Those are like probably usually the tightest ones for us. Your twisting feels tight. You're definitely, because you're going into a deeper twist. So that makes sense. So if your shoulders are tight, you just discovered that your back is actually tighter than your shoulders. Okay. All right, here we go. Right hand to the center, inhale the left arm up, and then exhale, slide it through. How does this side feel? Same? Yeah, okay. Good. And as you exhale, feel, because your upper spine can twist quite a bit. Just let it go. Try to identify where it is that it's being tight on you. And we'll take 4 or 5 more breaths here. And then go ahead, when you're finished, come back up to hands and knees. Yeah. Okay, Vidalasana time or cat pose, knees hip width apart, get your hands set up safely and raise the tailbone on your inhale. Drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, arch. Take your time in these, especially since we were just doing what we were doing, it might feel good to spend extra time in the arch position. Just so you guys know, I bought like a portable air conditioner because I'm probably the only yoga studio that will have an actual air conditioner in its practice space. So then we don't have to have the windows open all summer. I know allergies are not great right now too, but it does feel good. Just loud motorcycles. Take a couple more breaths. Move the hips and the shoulders if you want. And then one more stretch into child's pose. So sit back on the heels, stretch the back one more time. Lift the head, walk the hands to the right. We're going to be on our belly a little bit here doing some back bend. So I really want to see where get your backs ready for this. When you do this sidewalk thing, do you feel a stretch in the back in the same area that you were just doing with thread the needle? Okay. Yeah, does it get into your lower back or just the side? Okay. What if you dropped your left shoulder a little bit? Go ahead and come up, do the other side. Yeah, just reaching the top arm as long as you can, or as far as you can. And then inhale, come up, come back to center. Lower down carefully to the belly. So you can stay on your knees, but even just this transition, try to lower evenly like a chaturanga on the knees, all the way down. Left arm is the pillow, grab the right foot. You've been here before. See what you can do differently. Maybe your edge has moved. Press the hips. Go ahead and release. Other side. Now, when you're doing this, do you feel like, oh my gosh, that's really tight, or do you just feel like a normal stretch?
Normal.
Okay. So press the hips. If your knee feels okay, bring the heel a little bit closer. And you're good where you are, but your foot did just come closer. Like your elbow can start to bend eventually. Go ahead and release. All right. Release the arms and come to forearms where the shoulders are, they're gonna end up being underneath the elbows. And Robin, I don't know if this angle for you is really good, especially with the sun on my arm and the train coming in the background, but you want the shoulders and the elbows lined up. And then the elbows are actually shoulder width apart as well. Yeah, and then the palms are flat. The feet can be hip width apart, sitting bone width apart, as long as they're separated. All right. So as you pull the floor towards you, lengthen through the crown of the head, lengthen the spine. Don't just bend in the lower back. It's not huge movements here, but it does take a lot of strength. Press the tops of your feet so your knees lift off the mat. And release. Line your right cheek and bring your arms behind you. Back to your forehead. Bring your hands to your lower ribs. We're going to come into a cobra. And this is back body awareness. So keep your feet where they were. Your legs are going to be active and already lifting, knees lifting off the ground. The thighs and the back of the body are doing all the work here, okay? The hands do some work, but they don't do everything. As you lift up, your hips stay on the floor and you lengthen through the crown of the head, like you're bringing your body into traction. So go ahead and lift. Shoulders back, shoulder blades stay flat. Try to take 3 breaths here. Elbows stay in. And release, left cheek. One last time, you're gonna come to your forehead, interlace your fingers behind your back. We're gonna lift the same way, but this time our arms are gonna be behind us and we're gonna be reaching through the knuckles, okay? Regular interlaced fingers where your palms are touching will work good. Wrists. Oh, you should be able to interlace your fingers if you're. Okay, yes, perfect, good. Okay, all right, here we go. Inhale, lift. Pull your arms back. Press the tops of the feet. And lower. Good times. We're doing it one more time. You can let the hands go, but this time we're gonna raise the feet. And so as we lift up this time, the arms, the fingertips are going to be pointing back, the toes will be pointing back. And then, so imagine that energy going back and then through the crown of the head comes forward. So you're pulling in the opposite directions. So go back to your forehead. Everything you've just done and learned about back body stuff, we'll do that, put it all together. Inhale, lift. Woohoo! And lower, left cheek. Bring your hands to the floor, lift yourself to hands and knees, come back in a child's pose. Counter all of those back bends you just did, which are huge, huge deal. All right, on your next inhale, come back to hands and knees. Bring the right foot forward. You can go to fingertips, and we're not going to stay here, but just for your balance, and then bring yourself up to your leg. Is everyone's knees good here? Okay. Inhale, bring the arms up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Reverse it, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. As we exhale, we're coming into a revolved lunge here. So left elbow to the outside of the right knee. And if this is not working, you can keep the arms straight and put the right hand behind you. Okay, good. We're all good here. Feel that revolving happening from your solar plexus, like starting up in that rib cage area in your back and your spine, revolving the upper half of the body. And feel that strength in that center. On your next exhale, look down at your foot and bring your hands to the floor. Bring the right leg back and the left leg forward. So use your strength to come to your fingertips and find your balance. And then bring yourself all the way up to the thigh. Once you have your focus point, inhale, bring the arms up. Palms together, exhale. Reverse, inhale up. Exhale down. And then inhale up. Exhale, revolve to the left. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Press the palms. Good. Squeeze the thighs towards each other here. Feel all four corners of the front foot still. And then exhale, look down at your foot. Bring the hands down and bring the knee back. Curl the toes under, lift up and back. Pedal the feet. Take your time, get into the calf muscles, really press the heels down, come up onto your toes, do all the good stuff. And then with the feet hip apart, you'll come to stillness and reach through the tailbone. So lengthen through the tailbone, push the floor away from you. And even here, soften your heels towards the mat. Good, just keep the belly engaged. Inhale, look up and begin to step forward. Exhale, fold. Grab opposite elbows, separate the feet and dangle here for a moment. Knees bent or not, it doesn't matter. Just bend them as generously as you need to. We're trying to get the belly close to the thighs and let the head dangle. You can sway back and forth. You can nod your head yes and no just to really release. Shoulder blades are still pulling back here. One more breath. And then release the fingertips to the mat, lift the head. Bring the hands to the thighs, lift the body. Inhale all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Okay, so now I felt the roller skating that we did. Do you want to move your mat so you're not, the sun is like right on your eyes? Are you okay? If you're okay, that's fine. There's a spot in between the window, the transoms. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, what are you doing? Yeah, there's that space in between. Sun problems. 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Chaturanga down. Nice chaturangas. Inhale up. That was so good. Exhale, take it back. 5 breaths here. You can also choose down dog, or I'm sorry, child's pose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up, step forward. You're all in down dog. That makes it easier. And then exhale, fold. Press your back body forward. Inhale all the way up. Go right back down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Chaturanga down. Inhale up. and exhale back, 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, step forward. Exhale, fold. Was that your back? Inhale all the way up. Are you keeping your belly engaged? What happened with your chaturangas? Like all of a sudden they're just like spot on. What are you doing different? Something happened for the better. That was so good. All right, separate your feet. Doesn't matter which way you face. Just separate your feet. And we're gonna bring the toes out. Okay, we're gonna do goddess pose here. And then while we're in this posture, I really want you to have that visualization of that center, your seat of power right here. Inhale, bring the arms up. And then exhale, bend the knees over the ankles. So open the knees and then pull the elbows down. Good, open the chest. Inhale, stand up and reach up. Exhale down, open up the elbows. One more time, inhale, reach up. Go down as low as you can, exhale, and we're gonna pause here. Keep opening the knees so they don't collapse in. Find your breath. Bring your hands down to your knees. Take a break. We're gonna drop the shoulders. So bring the left shoulder in, kind of like a twist. Bring the right shoulder in. Keep pressing the heels. Doesn't that feel good though? Does it feel good? Yeah, it's like a twist, but it also stretches the insides of the legs. Come back to center, press your feet, come back to standing, breathe the toes in, and collapse to the floor. A lot of work for the legs. For balancing, we're gonna do the same stretch that we did on the floor. So you can hold on to the wall or have your left hand on your hip. We're gonna grab the right foot or ankle, and you can use a strap for this. So even if you loop your strap and make a little lasso for your foot, that works too. And then once you're standing, just keep the knee straight down. And press the hips forward, just like we were doing lying down. And release. Other side. Grab the left foot. So this would be like the beginning of our dancer pose, right? But for now, we are getting, opening the chest a little bit, but keeping the knee pointing straight down. So really just focusing on the leg here. Does anyone feel like they could grab the inside of the ankle or the foot? Okay. If you can do that, do that. Take another breath here because everybody's balancing really well. And go ahead and release. Good. It feels good, right? Yeah. I'm not convinced that you have a pulled muscle.
Yeah, I was feeling it more research.
Ah. Oh, good, good, good. I must have been reading that on you. Grab your strap for arm stretch. Straight arm for the right, thumb points back, palm faces in. Drop the upper half of the arm. So even if you're holding the strap, have your fingertips pointing down. Take your time with this side. Left thumb down. Feel the rotation happen because as you're here, The back of the hand should be touching the back. And you're either grabbing the strap or your fingers and pulling down or just clasping. That's a good setup. Your guys' arms look really good. Oh, yeah. So as we're doing this, pay attention to your feet. Have Tadasana legs, feel the weight. Have yourself lined up. And then go ahead and release. Other side. Set yourself up. Bend at the elbow. Right thumb down. Really exaggerate that rotation and start to slip the fingertips up. Grab onto the strap or the fingers and pull down. It's a little bit harder here to find a neutral cervical spine, but if you can keep the chin lifted a little bit, do that. And then exhale, release. Ooh, shake the arms out a little bit. Just do basic over the chest, go in the opposite direction. Good. Come to the front of your mat. Have your block available. You don't need to put it on the floor yet. I actually put it in your hand because we're going to find out where it's going to go after we take our left step back. Once you bring your left foot back, put the block on the inside of the foot. Your feet are going to be separated as wide as your hips, okay? Your hips are going to be pointing forward. Keep the legs straight as you inhale and lift the ribs away from the pelvis. And then exhale, tip forward. You can even put your hands on your hip creases to feel them go, because you're going to feel the left one go up. And you don't want the left one to go up. You want them to equally just go back and bring your hands down to the block. We're just going to stay here with a long spine with the head lifted. Focus on pressing both feet into the mat and continue to deepen the right hip and lower the left hip. That's what we're working towards, to getting even pelvis. Shoulders back. We're going to hop the left foot forward to come out of this. So bring the left foot forward, bend the knees, and come back to standing. Did you feel the difference, like when you're deepening the right hip? Because it's really hard if your hamstrings are tight. So like here, you guys were pretty even, but you know, this is what's going to happen. And what I want to happen is this. Is it pretty even now? Okay. So we deepen this right hip and lower the left. Okay, let's do the other side. Right leg back. So your block should already pretty much be in place with where you need it, but maybe not. You can adjust it. Hips forward, legs straight. Inhale, lengthen. Bring your fingertips to your hip creases and just send them back evenly. Go as slow as you need to. And then bring your fingertips and hands down to the block and keep leveling it out. You're pressing the ball mounds of both feet, both big toes. Deepen the left groin, drop the right. Yeah, this looks really good, guys. Take another breath or two. Look at your knee really quick, just see what direction it's pointing in. One more breath. Bend the front knee, hop the other foot forward and come to a standing position. And now you have rubber legs. That was really deep, wasn't it? All right. Yeah. And I mean, you can tell immediately how tight the hips are because this one feels, it's either, you know, the hamstring stop it too, but you're like, this hip doesn't really want to go anywhere. All right, inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Now you can really fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Come to your knees. Cross at the ankles. Sit on your butt. Lie on your back. Keep the left leg straight and bring the right knee up towards the chest. So we're bringing the right knee up as high as we can. We're going to do our internal rotation with the left leg. So as you hold on to the right knee, engage the abdominals, lift the left leg off the floor just a few inches. And then from the hip sock, rotate the whole leg in. So toes should be pointing in. Lift another inch. And keep lifting from the outer leg. We're taking 5 full breaths here. Keep the shoulders soft. And lower down. Release the right leg. Bend the left knee. Hug it up to the chest. We want to get the right leg nice and long too. So as you're bringing the left knee towards the chest, lengthen the right leg through the heel. All right, see if you can keep your face soft for this also. Were you guys lifting with your face? All right, lift a few inches. Rotate from, feel it happen from the hip socket. Lift another inch. If it gets too easy, your leg is too high. Lift from the outer leg, 5 breaths. And lower. Good. All right, take a long stretch. And then you can bend the knees, bring the knees up towards the chest, come into happy baby, whatever feels good. Happy baby would probably feel good after that, what we just did. And then bring the knees back together, bring the feet to the floor. Just one more twist here, and then we're in Shavasana. Bring the hips to the left, drop the knees to the right. And then from here, you can extend the top leg. Even if you hit the wall, that's not a bad thing. But kick out through your heel, because I'm wanting you to stretch the outside of the top leg. And then your arms can extend or bend. Yep, so bottom knee is bent and the top leg is straight. Come back to center slowly. So bend the top leg, knees up, pelvis back to center. Bring the hips to the right, knees to the left, and then straighten that top leg. If your shoulder starts to lift off the ground, like mine is because it's tight, just put something underneath the shoulder. If you're able to get the heel to the floor because you're kicking through the heel, or the heel to the wall, then that's good. One more breath here. And find that solar plexus power. Bring your knees back up. Bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Bring the arms overhead. You can interlace the fingers. You can grab the elbows. Just open up here. Bring your hands down to your knees. Help your knees back together. And then get ready for your Shavasana. So if you have anything you'd like to cover the eyes with or something like that, do that now. And just take some deep breaths. And begin to feel the bones settle to the back of the body. And I want you to bring your awareness one last time for this class to your solar plexus, that energy center below the ribs and above the navel. And see that glowing yellow light, that center of strength. And each time you inhale, see that light expand a little bit further and further into the body until it's reached the fingers, the toes, the top of the head, and your entire body is filled with that yellow light. Once your body is filled, breathe and bask in that warmth. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes when you're ready. Slow movements, being gentle on the nervous system as you wake up the body. And then move into another stretch or a bend of the knees, whatever feels good here. Rolling onto your right side when you're ready. Pause here for another moment. And then slowly push yourself back to a seated position. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you today. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Bye, Robin.